Welcome to the Bourbon Talk Show, the ABV Network's original YouTube series where we interview some of the most interesting people from the world of bourbon. Today on the show, we'll be talking to Eric Downs and Derick Mattingly of Limestone Branch in Lebanon, Kentucky. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host for the evening, Steve Akley.
Hello, hey gang, what's up? Here we are. Season finale. We had last week off, McNew, and a surprise, didn't we?
Yeah, it was weird to have a Thursday off. I didn't know what to do with myself, Steve.
Yes. So Lenny let us down again. So we're not going to ask for the family interview again. Apparently, it's not meant to be.
It's not meant to be. It's not happening.
I feel like it would be an epic interview, and he's like, it just wouldn't be that good. I think it would be great. And he's like, well, Arlo will get upset halfway through. Perfect. That's good. That's good TV watching right there. In my mind.
Yeah, I feel like he's an entertaining kid, and he's a cute kid. So like. It's fine, but yeah, and it's not happening for us.
He had a breakthrough in his scientific thing where he's working on getting astronauts to Mars, and he recently had a breakthrough, and he thinks he's got it figured out how to get them there safely. And I wanted to hear that on the show, but it wasn't meant to be.
Maybe top secret, Steve, and he just didn't want to come on the show and tell you.
Maybe that's it. Maybe the government
classified information.
It said, hey, you can't be sharing. This is good. You're right on here, son, but you can't share this on the Bourbon Talk Show.
That's why they keep canceling. He didn't even have a broken arm last time. No sharing with us.
Yeah. So yeah, he's an interesting kid. It would have been fun with the dynamic of the whole family. So we would have got to talk to Amy, which would have been cool.
Yes, an Amy perspective would be nice sometimes. I think it would be nice.
Yes. Yeah, because she has to deal with Lenny. He does stuff like buy a motorcycle and doesn't tell her. And I wanted to hear the behind the scenes of what that was like. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah, I freaked out because, believe it or not, this could be our last show as we do this. So we're going to take the fall off for sure, because I'm opening up this ABV barrel shop and just not knowing what my schedule is going to be like and stuff like that. We can't commit to the fall. Now, what I'm thinking, though, moving forward, maybe we can't do 10 weeks in a row. That's a long run to commit to with when we got the shop open and that, but maybe 2 or 3 weeks in a row, just, book some guests and maybe do it from the bar at the ABV barrel shop. So live from the ABV barrel shop.
If people are in town, we could do it like a live show, the Bourbon Talk Show.
Yeah. So I think there's still some application here, McNew. We just need to work through it and what that looks like moving ahead. And so we're at the end of the show. It'll be bye for now, and hopefully we figure out how to bring this thing back. So that's the cool thing.
I have ideas now. We'll talk about
ideas. Okay, that sounds good. Well, I also want to acknowledge our guests here. So Eric and Derick, how are you guys doing?
Nice.
Good.
This is kind of cool too, having two people from the same distillery, different roles. So and I've known you guys for a long time. I've known you guys for years. I've been coming to the distillery and I used to hang out with you guys. Remember that one event we did? That's where I met Royce Neely actually the first time.
The Crash Festival.
Yeah, remember? And I was sitting out. You guys were working. You were both working in distilling at that time, and I was just kind of in your way because I had a table set up inside because it was like raining outside. That I was like, I got podcasting equipment. I can't be outside. So, so that was fun. So we've known each other for a long time. So it's going to be fun to get to know you guys and talk a little bit about your careers and what you guys got going on. So we'll do that in just a little bit. Okay, guys?
Sounds good.
We kicked this thing off by sharing 3 things that are going on in the world of bourbon. So the first one, I don't know if you follow this, McNew, but this is definitely a very big thing going on right now. So Virginia's ABC, so they're state-run liquor stores and things like that. And they always would put everything other than the super highly allocated stuff that would go in lottery, of course, like the Pappies and the BTECs, but other things like Wellers and Blantons and all that, they would have it listed in inventory. You could see, hey, if we go to this city in this store, that I could pick this up today. And they announced they're not going to do that anymore. Anything that is considered allocated is going to be put out on a random basis. So if they get a Blanton's in there or a Weller, again, they'll still have the Pappy and the BTEC. That's going to be separate from all this, but they're just going to drop it in a store. So it might be dropped in a random store where they're going to put this out, and people are losing their minds over this. They're not happy about this.
People are very angry if they know, like, hey, every Tuesday I go here and get my Weller. Like, they're going to be very angry that that's not how their life is anymore.
Yes. So
it's better. I like it because it's not running anything for me. I think this is the fairest way to do something.
I kind of feel that way too, because who ends up with all that stuff. And of course, they're going to be the loudest group and complaining and stuff like that. But it's the flippers, right? Because they're angry because they can't buy it then to be able to sell it. So that's what makes them mad. They have the ability to look on a website, see where their Blanton's is that they buy for $70 or whatever the price is, and then they're going to sell it for $150. And now the fact that it's not put out that way anymore, it makes them mad. For me, just as a general customer, just to be able to show up and maybe, when I walk into that store at that time on that date, it's there. I'd get that, because I'm not going to be the type that's going to, follow the website and see when it's refreshed every day and what's out there, and then drive around and collect all this stuff. So to me, if I was a resident, it sounds like a better deal for a person like me.
Yeah, I agree. Because like if you're not paying attention to their social medias or their emails, however they're doing it, you're just a random guy that walks in on your lunch break. You feel like you had a lucky day. I think it's going to be better for people overall.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like I said, there's a lot of crying going on right now, but we'll see how that in the long term, if it ends up being better or not. So interesting stuff. The second story, Tobacco Barn Distillery in Hollywood, Maryland. Who knew there was a Hollywood, Maryland?
I had no idea.
Yeah. I mean, we think of Hollywood, we think of California, even Florida, but Maryland has one too. They're introducing what they're calling a 700-mile-per-hour bourbon. It's a whiskey that was flown last August in barrels placed inside two external fuel tanks on a British Sea Harrier jet, a fighter that was formerly part of the Royal Navy. This bourbon was exposed to 140 decibels, 3 feet away from those Rolls-Royce Pegasus jet engines, as that thing was flying at 700 miles per hour. And they're wanting to see how that pressure affects the flavor of the creations that they've made. What do you think about that?
So I have a question. Was it aged for an amount of time before this, or are they aging it after, or is this some new like rapid aging going to be terrible situation?
Well, they don't talk about the age of the product, and I don't know if it was aged before that. Obviously it's been aged after that, because this happened last August, so for sure it spent some time just in a regular warehouse after that, at least whatever that is, 9 months from now. But I don't know about the time before that. So that's interesting. This sounds like something Trey Zoller would do, didn't we? We went to
So
Jefferson's.
I think Oceans is cool though, because I can understand how being on a boat for a long amount of time is going to change flavors. I'm not sure about this jet though. It's interesting.
Yes. Yeah, because it's not that much time. Obviously, a flight at 700 miles per hour, and but I get the fact that, of course, that engine is really, but again, that's going to be a very short time. It's only during that flight that they're doing this. So I don't know what sort of impact. It seems maybe it's just more of a gimmick than anything. Whereas the Jeffersons is out there for months and months and months.
Yeah, I want to take this to the next level though. What if somebody shipped a barrel to the space station and we have space aged whiskey? I want that.
Space aged whiskey, sure.
All of our distiller friends, somebody ship me a barrel up there. I want space aged whiskey.
It just seems like, this idea that it just moves back and forth and that's going to create much better whiskey. It seems like it's so hokey that it could be involved with anything. Maybe your favorite guitarist, whoever your favorite guitarist is, Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. I mean, I love ZZ Top. Do I want a barrel that sat in front of all of his concerts on the last tour in front of the speaker? That's the rationale here. Same type of thing. I mean, it's just all that stuff gets into kind of hokey marketing, if you ask me. But
yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's going to have a really cool label, but I don't think it's really doing much for what's inside there.
Yeah. Uprocks, the online website for article number 3, they said that the average price paid for a bottle of Elmer T. Lee over the previous year was $350. This is a $35 bottle.
Yeah, but you can't find it anywhere. And I've actually seen that like in some bourbon lotteries every year too. So I'm not surprised by this.
All right. What would you pay? What $350 if you saw one, McNew?
I've only had it once, and that's because Jason Bronner had it one time we were there. It's good. I really enjoyed it. It was great. It's a great pour, but I don't really want to pay that much for it. I think if I found it for like $150, that'd probably be my limit for Elmer's.
$150. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm just too old at this point in bourbon, because I'm still the type, because I used to be able to buy that off the shelf whenever I wanted it for, $30. And $50 would probably be it for me. So it's, the retail price plus a little bit of a premium, but I'm not going to find it for that. That's just not how it works. Now, the one caveat to that is some of the big box liquor stores, if you do their drawings and things like that, will sell it for retail price. So that's what I'm down to now. The hope and prayer of winning the opportunity to buy something in a lottery that sells it for retail price. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So I won Blanton's like that in the other day in the like the second chance drawing for Total Wine. So
see, you might get lucky next time and get an Albert T. Lee.
Albert T. Lee, yes.
Out there, Steve.
I've got like half a bottle left right now, so I guess I gotta slow drink that one until I get lucky.
Yeah, you just gotta savor it until you win something.
That's how this works. Yeah, with bourbon, the way these prices are, when you get low on something like that, you have to just slow drink it and then hope that you get another one. And if not, you just remember what it tastes
on the shelf with this much for decades.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't drink it yet.
No. All right. Well, that's what's going on in the world of bourbon. All right. Our first guest has trained under Steve Beam, where he learned the art of distilling. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Eric Downs. Hey, Eric, how you doing, buddy?
Hey. Hello. Good. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. So glad to be able to talk to you, learn a little bit more about what you are doing these days at Limestone Branch. Of course, we always like to start with just kind of a casual lead into our interviews. And so wanted to ask you about, some of the favorite concerts that you've been to. What are some of the favorite music concerts you've seen?
I don't go to many music concerts. I think I've been to a Garth Brooks concert when I was younger, and a Brooks and Dunn concert.
Ouch. Country stuff. Oof.
Yeah.
Brooks and Dunn's great live.
Nowadays, I don't listen to music really. It's mainly podcasts.
So, podcasts, yes. Our shows? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. So, you don't get out and get to go to many concerts. So, yeah, maybe.
I'm always here. I'm always here.
Understandable. So how did you get started at Limestone Branch? What brought you to the distillery when you got beginning there?
So my family growing up, we were always, all my brothers, my mom, my dad, I've got uncles, aunts, all of them are in the industry. So naturally, whenever it was time for me to get a job, I did anything but bourbon. I wanted to rebel and do something different. So I went into automotive, did that for about 10, 11 years. And one day I wanted to change, drove by here, saw the sign saying they were hiring. So I just pulled in and stopped in to talk.
Really? So just that simple, huh? And and you work for Steve Beam. So tell us what it's like working for that guy, because we love Steve Beam. I feel like there's just not a nicer person around than that guy.
Yeah. Working with Steve is like an amazing perk. He's so knowledgeable for one, and he can tell you why things work, the best way to do things. He's got all the history, the family history and things that he can tell you about. And secondly, he's kind of celebrity, So whenever I first walked in and met him, it's always just really nice learning from a bean. Like, who else can you learn from other than a bean?
Right. Yeah. And so you find him to be a good teacher, a good mentor?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Of course, you work with one of the biggest characters from the world of bourbon, and Mr. Stephen Fonte. Tell us what he's at the distillery.
So actually, Fonte was the first one I met.
Really?
When I came here, I walked in the door that first day. He greeted me, and I immediately felt like I'd known him forever. He's what I would kind of describe as a master storyteller with a bourbon enthusiast, kind of paired together. So anything he talks about is interesting. He can engage any audience. It's just such a pleasure being able to work with him. And I know that the customers and guests always love being able to spend some time with him as well.
Yeah, he commands a room, doesn't he? I mean, just even the way he talks, but then of course he has all the knowledge and the great stories and stuff like that. So there's just not a better presence in a room than Stephen Fonte.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And totally different than Steve Beam. Steve Beam has all the great family history and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Equally as interesting as Stephen Fonte, but just totally different presentation style, very low key, know, and whereas Stephen Fonte is kind of over the top, this big, huge personality, when you see him. So fun stuff.
Yeah, Steve will 100% be there to talk to people and offer up his wisdom. But if you're not looking, you may not notice that he's there.
You're right.
But you may not notice you're in a room with a celebrity. Fonte is a celebrity, and everybody knows it.
you're not going to get home at the end of the night and someone's going to be like, "Did you notice that one guy telling the story?" Yeah, Fonte's telling the story. You're going to hear it.
Exactly.
I was at an event recently where he was at, and it's so funny because he was there as kind of the featured guest, but wherever he went, whether he was standing where he's supposed to stand or he went to go get a drink, he's got a circle around him and he's telling stories. He stops and then wherever he stops, there's a whole group starts gathering around him and he starts talking. So
people are drawn to him. Just drawn to him.
Yeah. We got individuals like McNew and Justine here always say, he's so great at speaking. They would go to an event where he was reading the phone book or something like that. Yeah.
100%.
I would even buy tickets. Do you request that? I'm there.
They would purchase a ticket to an event. Stephen Fonte reads the phone book, and yes, they show up for that. So that's
one of the perks of my job is where I sit usually, and where I'm usually working. I can hear his tours as he's coming through. So it's an amazing part of the day to hear how he interacts with everybody and engages everybody. You might get a bunch of different types of people coming in, but he can engage them all. He can get everybody interested, and by the time they're done, they're all excited to sample the bourbon and go up into the gift shop and buy them something.
Yeah. He's literally that good for sure.
Yeah.
I know as a distiller, there's no such thing as a normal day. Everything's going to vary day to day to day. But, if we had to pin you down and say kind of what if we had to look at something, what we might consider a normal day, what does that look like for you?
With us, we are kind of a skeleton crew. We run very lean operation here. So for a standard day for us, we're going to do everything from receiving grain, then receiving grain inspections. We mill it, we cook it, ferment it. We're going to do all of our fermentation checks throughout.
What time are you getting there in the morning? What time you arrive?
I arrive at about 6 a.m. So we work 6 a.m. to 6:30 at night, and then we have a night shift that'll do 6 at night to 6:30 in the morning. So
wow,
we keep everything running. We're small operation. We got to maximize what we have, so it's a 24/7 operation.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty exciting. So
and it's really interesting to be able to have your hand into everything like that. You're able to learn, and that's where Steve can really shine as a mentor and a teacher. Is he can kind of help you learn each individual aspect. We're not just specializing in one area of like fermentation or just barreling or aging. We're having to kind of be a master of all.
Right. Yeah, that's very cool. All right. Well, at this point in the interview, I turn it over to my co-host, Stephanie McNew, and she asks a question of our guest. So, McNew, what do you got for Eric here?
Yeah, so I'm going to throw it back to one of our intro stories. Eric, if you could age a barrel of whiskey anywhere, like on a boat or a plane, anywhere that's not normal ground, what would you choose?
Oh, here we go.
Oh my gosh. So, to be honest, I'm usually very leery of
non-traditional. Yeah.
Right. I kind of think that the old way is usually the right way.
Right.
And when we try to do things in new ways, what we're really inventing is new gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
The old timers that started way back when, they knew more than most people nowadays give them credit for. If we can get back to our roots, I really feel like generally we're going to be better off. outside of that, I would be kind of interested in a little bit of shorter rickhouse storage. I like the shorter stuff, shorter rickhouses. Like, my dad retired from Four Roses, so we always had Four Roses in the house. I know Four Roses, they keep their rickhouses just a little bit lower. That's about the only gimmick really that I have is a lower rickhouse storage.
Well, just lower rickhouse. Very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. So recently, Limestone Branch announced the release of the original recipe of Yellowstone. What can you tell us about that product?
So first off, they're going to get me in trouble with my wife because I keep buying bottles. And every time they come out with a new bottle, she's going to kick me out. I had to buy the Landmark edition. So when I came home with all of those bottles, she wasn't happy. This original recipe bottle is absolutely beautiful. And the product inside it, to me, is really special. It's a 6-year bourbon. It's what we've ran here on our small pot still that we had, that 150-gallon pot still that we ran. And the really special part about it is the original recipe that was rediscovered in Guy Beam's notebooks. So
wow.
We have a tie back to history there. We know that Guy Beam wrote those notes himself, Steve's grandfather. And just a little cherry on top of all that, the yeast strain that we're using is also Steve's great grandfather's original yeast strain that we recovered from that donut jug. So I really like tying back to the past and looking into the way things were done before, so that we can make a product that down the road and in the future is worthwhile.
Yeah. One of the things that I look forward to every year is the Yellowstone limited edition release in the fall. Tell us a little bit about the process, how that works. Like, for example, is 2022 ready to go, or is it something that you're working on during this part of the year and then it is bottled and ready to go later in the year? How does it work?
So it's an opportunity for Steve to really use his creativity. And a lot of that he'll keep under his hat.
Right.
So it goes through the year. He's kind of researching, testing. Once we come closer into the fall, it gets pretty hectic around here because then we're putting into action, getting back what we had put back for him for that, getting it bottled, getting it ready for sales.
Yeah.
So for the gift shop, at least, it's always very interesting around here when the limited comes out. I believe that the limited this year, I don't have a lot of details on it. It is kind of in the works coming through. And I think that one of the little tidbits of information I can give, I think they're trying to do a Marsala Superior cask finish on the bourbon.
Yeah.
So Steve was trialing some of that and he really liked how that complemented the bourbon flavors.
That's cool. That's very interesting to hear. So yeah, can't wait for that one. It's like I said, always a favorite. The only thing I don't like that's going on, it's getting tougher and tougher to find. It used to be one you could automatically get every year. No worries at all. I'm going to be able to get this one. And the last couple of years I have got it, but it's been a struggle. It's been hard. So yeah. Absolutely. Which is good. It's good and bad. I love the fact things are going well and people appreciate what you guys are doing. I just, on a personal basis, want to make sure I get a bottle. So yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Well, as small as we are, it's hard to get these limited editions in the quantities that all of us would like to get, so that they can get out there to a wider audience.
Yeah.
But we usually have a decent crowd coming through the distillery. It's usually available here in the gift shop. At least for a little bit right after release. So it gives people a little bit of time. As long as they're willing to drive a little way to get to us, they can usually get a bottle as long as they kind of get on it as soon as it releases.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Steve Beam, obviously, besides, being a distiller there, he also represents the brand. So he's traveling, he's out and about. So what's it like, working with him when he's out on the road, doing his job or, that type of thing, representing the brand?
So, he does stay very busy with his travel, with his representation of the brand and all that. The good thing for us here, we kind of have a pretty good rigid schedule of our production. So it kind of runs itself as long as everybody does what they're supposed to do, you know?
Right.
So for the most part, we kind of are self-sustaining. If we ever did have an emergency, it's kind of like a bat phone here. You know, we got a beam phone. We can give him a call at any time. He's always available. He's always willing to help us. So when we do need him, I give him a call. He gives us direction on what he thinks needs to be done. But for the most part, he set up a system that works pretty well.
Yeah. That's cool. And I guess he has to, when you're running 24 hours a day, obviously, even as great as Steve Beam is, he can't be there 24 hours a day. So he has to set up a great system. So it sounds like he's got things figured out, though. So that's good to hear.
Absolutely.
So, Limestone's also known for its experiments, and you guys usually have several of those available at any given moment in the gift shop. And it's kind of fun part of the tour, too, when you go and you get to see all the small barrels, in the storage container in the back. So tell us what that part of the job is like. What's it like doing these experiments and coming up with these ideas?
Oh, it's probably one of my favorite parts of the job. You know, bourbon in itself is kind of a creative process. You know, you kind of have to care about the end product. You're putting in a lot of hard work to make something that down the road, years later, somebody's either going to taste that product and say, I can really tell somebody put some care into this, or they're going to taste it and be like, that wasn't really all that great. And in the smaller batches that we're doing, we're able to experiment with a lot of different grains. So, we use some caramel malted barley, some chocolate malted barley, making some really interesting flavors that people seem to really like. And we actually did a few of those small barrels about a year ago, where we used a Munich yeast in one of our wheated bourbons. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to turn out. And, if I was at another place, I may not be able to experiment as much like that. So it lets you get a real nice creative outlet there.
Yeah. I think that would have to be one of the best parts of the job, the ability as a distiller to explore and do other things. And, and the fact that you guys have a process, a way to sell those, then to market them through the gift shop. And, if they're great, you can explore what can we do with this? Can it become a regular item, that type of thing? And, I think that even some of your regular items have come from, experimentation, which is kind of cool. So,
yeah. And you tend to learn more when you're experimenting like that. It makes it a little bit in depth on your learning. So whenever you come out the other end and you've made something that is great, you've learned something about the process. If you make something that's not very good, Steve's usually quick to correct your methodology.
Yes. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. All right. Last question. We always like to end on a fun one too. So kind of put aside all the bourbon talk and the chat and all that, and just ask about your life in general. So this one, again, I don't even know if you're a sports fan or not, but if you are, what is your favorite sports team?
So for sports, everyone here, it's kind of a running joke. I don't really watch a lot of sports either. Usually after the big football games and stuff and basketball games, everybody will come in and want to celebrate a win of a local team, and I'm usually the one that's like, I didn't watch the game. So I'm kind of the wet blanket whenever they're coming in ready to celebrate a Super Bowl win or a college football win or something. But I'm more of a baseball fan.
Okay.
I really enjoy going to watch the Louisville Bats and the Cincinnati Reds. So I know baseball is not a popular sport for a lot of people because they say it's kind of a slow-paced game. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, nothing wrong with that. Baseball's good. I mean, you got the wrong team. It should be the St. Louis Cardinals. So we work on that aspect of it, and then we'll be good to go, man. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right. Well, Eric, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Please stick around. We'll let you share, contact information and social media or company stuff, whatever you want to share at the end of the interview. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. What we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking to Derick Mattingly. We'll do that in just a few.
Today's show is sponsored by Moonshine University. Moonshine University offers programs to assist individuals in the bourbon industry or simply fans wanting to step up their knowledge. Whether you are looking for in-person learning in the classrooms of Moonshine University or looking for self-study online, there are options to fit your unique needs. Check them out at moonshineuniversity.com. We are also sponsored by the ABV Network's Distiller Summit in Key West, Florida. This six-day event features events and networking opportunities from January 24th through 30th, 2023. When there's no better place in the world to be than sunny Key West. Get more information at abvnetwork.com.
Yes, get the information, get on that. That'll be here before we know it. Key West in January, please. You got to be there, right, McNew?
It's only 7 months away. Don't miss it, guys.
Yeah, get on it. Get on it. Yeah. Eric and Derick, hopefully we'll see you guys in Key West next year. It's a fun time for sure. Yeah. All right. Our next guest runs the cocktail program at Limestone Distillery. And oh, by the way, it's a pretty great program. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Derick Mattingly. Hey, oh, Derick, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. You?
I'm doing good as well. Yeah, looking forward to chatting with you. Like I said, always enjoy spending time down at the distillery, seeing you. And yeah, you make up some pretty good cocktails. I'll say that, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So again, we always like to kick things off with something that has nothing to do with the bourbon talk or the cocktails or anything like that. And we're going to ask you, do you like to travel? And if so, where do you like to go when you do some traveling?
Don't really do a whole lot of traveling. So I've got 3 kids and active. I've got a competitive gymnast.
Okay.
I have a actor. And then the little boy, he ain't into nothing right now. So they're always on the go doing gymnastics. Or my gymnast also does cheerleading. My actor also, she plays basketball. So we either got a play to go to or a ball game to go to or a gymnastic competition or something like that. But we do at least try to go once a year. We'll try to take a family vacation. And that's usually we like the beach. So we'll head down to Destin, Florida, spend a week down there just with the family.
Yes. Yeah. I like that area. The Destin area is nice. The beaches are awesome. I mean, that white sand down there is something to behold. If you've never been down that way, it's different than it's like talcum powder sand. Yeah. So it's really some neat beaches there, and the restaurants, so many great restaurants and stuff like that. I go to that area too, and I've been to the state of Destin before. I do like Pensacola better, which is kind of in the same area. It's all right there. Kind of.
I got family in Pensacola, so
yeah. So that the Pensacola beach is really cool too, and it's what I like about that one is it just has kind of an older vibe to it. It feels like you've been dropped in like the 1950s and going on a Florida vacation. So it's kind of a cool thing, I think, but. We asked Eric about getting started at Limestone Branch. Same thing for you. How did you get started at Limestone Branch Distillery?
Pretty much the same way. I was looking to change careers. I'd been doing corrections for 12 years.
Uh-huh.
And if you've never worked in that field, it's hard on you because you never see the good in people. You always see them at their lowest.
Right.
And they're always mad. So. Yeah. And when you're working inside a detention center, you're locked up just as much as the individuals that are actually locked up in the detention center.
Right.
So I was looking for a career change, and I had a friend that was actually working here at the time, and he's like, look, there's an open position. I recommend you apply for it. And I did, and was lucky enough to be interviewed by Steve himself, and he gave me the job, and the rest is history with that. So,
how long ago was that? How long have you been there?
I started in September of 2017 is when I started.
Okay. Yeah. So it'll be 5 years this year. That's pretty good.
It will be. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. So tell us a little bit about the cocktail experience at Limestone Branch. And again, not necessarily for me, I am asking the question, I've been there and that, but many people that'll be watching this haven't necessarily been to the distillery. So tell them a little bit about what it's like.
It's kind of like its own unique experience on the Bourbons Trail. Owned are all outside of our tours and our tastings. With the cocktails, I like to use fresh ingredients as possible. And I'm extremely picky about what I send across the bar to a customer. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to making cocktails. Yeah, a pretty sizable cocktail menu. So something for everybody that comes through.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
It is kind of cool because you're right there at kind of the setup. You can grab a cocktail before your tour, right? And then take it with you on the tour.
Correct. Yeah, well, you can. It's you can grab before the tour. It's kind of limited as far as taking it on tour now.
Uh-huh.
but you've got enough time to drink it before or after you do your tour.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. What's the most popular cocktail that you have?
I'd have to go three-way tie. It's going to be our old fashions, our Bloody Marys, our bourbon bacon Bloody Marys, and of course the Kentucky Mule. They're the top three.
They're the top three. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All winners for sure. And I think I've had all of those from you, and yeah, very good stuff for sure. And are you always experimenting with ingredients, kind of coming up with new cocktails, or do you do it seasonally, or is it just pretty static? How does your cocktail menu work?
Yeah, that's probably the most fun I get to have during the day is when I'm trying to create something new. When I'm working on something new, I usually get to run it through the ambassadors that I work with, and the retail shop. They'll taste it and they'll tell me, hey, try to change this or maybe add this, and give me ideas on what to change the ingredients. And when we get it just right and it passes taste test, I'll let them name it and make it a featured cocktail.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's cool. And how often does your menu change? Is it something that just happens haphazardly, or like I said, is there set times of the year when you make official changes to the menu? So
the menu is pretty standard. Try to keep at least one or two new cocktails. I'll try to do a featured cocktail once a month. That way, you've got something new. I'll also do seasonal cocktails as well. Like right now, I'm getting ready to come up with a blackberry cocktail.
Sounds like
I serve every year. It's real popular.
Yeah, this time of the year, nice blackberry cocktail sounds pretty darn nice, actually. All right, well, guess what? It is time for a McNew question. McNew, what do you have for Derick here?
All right, so this question might be out of the question because you just said you like very fresh ingredients, like the best of the best. But would you ever consider doing a line of pre-batched or canned cocktails to sell out of the gift shop?
You cut out on me. I lost the question.
Oh, so would you ever consider doing like pre-batched or canned cocktails to sell out of the gift shop?
Probably not. I mean, like when we're real busy, I might pre-batch our Bloody Marys. But as far as doing canned cocktails or stuff like that, not a fan. I mean, I like to have that customer in front of me when I'm actually making the cocktail so they can see what goes in it and the care that I put into it. And I want them to understand that I want them to enjoy tasting it as much as I'm enjoying making it for them in front of them.
Yeah, that definitely adds to the experience too, when you can see everything. Like you're just creating magic in a glass. So that is cool to see.
Yeah. So as you are working, the cocktail bar, who's the most interesting person that you can name drop here that has come in and ordered a cocktail from you? Whether it's like a bourbon celebrity or maybe a real celebrity that we've seen on TV or something. Who is it?
I've had, I know Fred Minnick has come in and ordered from me.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I've had, of course, you've ordered from me.
Whoa.
Had Jimmy Rutledge in here. I think I've made him a cocktail.
Yeah, that's big. He's one of the all-time greats.
When you got Stephen Fonte up there giving tours, he pulls in a lot of people, and he's all the time, hey, get you a cocktail before the tour. It makes it better. So
yeah,
I probably have served people that have been real well known, and I wouldn't have known it. So yeah, I'd say most everybody that comes to me because everybody has their own unique story. And that's what I like about doing the cocktails is meeting all the new people, learning about everybody that comes through, and it just opens up my world. It's what it does.
McNew, does that not sound like a great bartender response? He wants to get everybody's personal story and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm sure he gets all kinds of great stories though. Like just hear everything you get to hear would just be a great day.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is.
We asked Eric about Steve Beam, but I want to throw that to you too, because again, I think he's such a great person, and I'd like to hear your perspective on Steve Beam and what the interaction for you is in working with him.
I think Steve's awesome. I mean, of course, when I was in the distillery, doing stuff the wrong way, and him correcting me, and you stride and you learn from him. But to earn his trust and build the trust, and he knows that you're going to be what you need to be, to release his product properly, you can't ask for a better employer or a person to work for.
Yeah. That's kind of always what I figure. I mean, just my interaction with him, but yeah, it's just neat to hear how, that the experience with Steve Beam doesn't matter if you're part of the bourbon media, if you will, you're an employee of his, or you're just a customer that's coming into the distillery. It's kind of all the same. I mean, he's just a great guy. I mean, so that's really cool and something special about him for sure. What's the favorite part of your job? I mean, you have a lot of different things that you have to do. What's your favorite part of it?
It's by far meeting the people that come through here.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, creating the new cocktails and being told that I make the best old fashioned people's ever had goods, but it's by far meeting the people that come through here.
Yeah. I think that's obviously pretty important to what you're doing, and the fact you're adding to their fun. I mean, I think that's one of the great things about being in the business that you guys are in. Both of you working at a distillery, you tend to be in a pretty good mood. When you're going to a distillery, you're not ticked off. It's not like, even other things that are supposedly fun, you might not like. So if, you get drugged to a concert that you don't like, but you're going for your spouse or friends or something like that, there could be situations where but if you're going to a distillery, typically you're going there on your own free will, and you're going there because you're one to enjoy that experience. So you're catching people at the right time and then adding to it by creating unique cocktails, I think is a cool thing. It has to be rewarding.
Very. It's for me, it's not a job. The old saying, you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And I truly do love the position that I'm in right now.
Very cool. So as mentioned before, you used to work on the distilling side as well. So compare and contrast a little bit about those two different jobs and what you like now versus what you were doing before.
The distilling, I liked it. Creating that product from scratch, seeing it through to the barrel, and then, knowing that you did everything you could to make that product what it needs to be. Great feeling. Making cocktails is sort of the same deal. Creating a product and getting to watch what your intended audience enjoy what you have made. Also a great feeling. So it's that pride you take in the product that you're creating on both sides of it. It's just an overwhelming feeling that you can't really explain unless you're actually creating the product.
Yeah. And obviously a much shorter cycle too. Distilling, you're putting it in a barrel and you'll be like, okay, we'll crack this out in 2 years or 4 years or whatever it is. And this, you're on the other side of the bar from the person that you're creating that thing for, that's a totally different experience, but the same type of thing, just compressed time frame, right? I mean, you are creating something. I got to,
when I was distilling, I got to run some of them experimental barrels that you'd asked Derick about, and we've actually got into some of the barrels that I have ran. So I've actually got to see some of the product that I created through to the finish.
Yeah.
As far as the distilling goes as well.
That's very fun too.
Yeah.
So last question. If we decide we want to record one of these at your house and we said, let's do dinner and cocktails, what would the dinner that you would prepare for us and what would the cocktail be? And by the way, if you answer this the right way, we'll show up and do that.
I'm definitely going ribeye steaks, sweet potatoes, baked sweet potatoes, tossed salad, and with cocktails, I'm going to make sure I have enough ingredients to make whatever cocktail that each guest wants, so we don't have to limit it.
It's custom. I like it.
All right, McNew, put this down on one we'll do next year. We're going to Derick's house.
Yeah.
I want to make this one of our first events next year.
Right. It sounds pretty darn good, doesn't it? Yeah. So I like it. That's good stuff. So really appreciate it. Let's hear a round of applause for Derick Mattingly. Great job. Really great learning about you. As we wrap this up, let's go to both of you and ask if there's anything you want to share social media wise. This could be personal stuff. It can be stuff for your company, whatever you'd like. We'll start with you, Eric. Where can people find you, or what do you want people to know?
So you can usually find me here at the distillery.
Okay.
I would just like for everybody to come out to Limestone Branch. Of course, we have our website, limestonebranch.distillery.com. We're always growing, so always something new to see and something new to try here.
Absolutely. All right. Derick, how about you?
I mean, I just invite everybody to come see us, meet all of our ambassadors, and get you a custom created cocktail from Miners Lounge. I mean, you'll thoroughly enjoy it.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, McNew, how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakley.com, kind of dedicated towards my writing, but I've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check that out. Everything that we do is out there. We've got about 3,000 shows, all original content we've created. It's available with a lot of other stuff like blogs and newsletters and all that kind of stuff at abvnetwork.com. Also, be sure to check out ABV Barrel Shop. That's our barrel shop that'll be coming very soon, focusing strictly on single barrel picks. Please take a quick moment to fill out the form on there, and you'll be in tune with what we have available for sale at the shop, and we'll keep you up to date with newsletters and stuff like that and let you know what's going on at the shop. Again, that's abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please hit the subscribe button and follow Bourbon Sasquatch on YouTube, where all of our shows will be posted. And when you're watching an episode, please give us a thumbs up and leave some comments and share it. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And just stay tuned to ABV Network Communications and follow about everything else we have going on.
Absolutely. We'll let everyone know when we come up with what that plan is going to be. Look for sometime in early 2023. We'll get something together. McNew and I will get our heads together. We'll figure this thing out and what we're going to do moving forward. Should be fun. We don't want to miss out this opportunity talking to great people like we talked to tonight. One last round of applause for Eric and Derick. Great job, guys. Really appreciate it. Excellent. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you in 2023. Sometime we'll let you know when. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.